Hey guys, June 21st. Happy Friday. Hey George, I don't know if you're watching this video, but if you are, happy birthday. That's my brother-in-law. I'm celebrating you today. Tutu? Alright, coming to you from the car. I'm on my way out to see my nephew perform in a saxophone concert. First chair, in the first band, just saying. That's my nephew Mitchell. Okay. Today, what we're talking about in this video, in this Friday video, is focus. And if you are reading along in your one-year Bible, and if you aren't, it's okay, it's no big whoop. But if you are, you might be thinking, why are we talking about focus? That has absolutely nothing to do with what we read. Yeah, it does. Because I want us to think about it like this. Okay, we read a lot about the kings, and we read about Jonah. We also read Amos, but I'm going to keep Amos until Monday so we can lump all of Amos together. Also, I think I did not exit when I was supposed to exit. It's okay. All right. So if we're thinking about the kings, we're thinking about Jonah, and we think about their focus. What were they focused on? Think about that for a minute. Most of them were focused on themselves. We see one or two or three kings from Judah whose focus was on God most of the time. All of the kings from Israel were boo-boo. But some of the kings from Judah had their focus on God. However, most of them did not end well because they took their eyes off God. They took their focus off of God. And if we look at Jonah, he was all about doing what he wanted to do. God's heart was for Nineveh. And he wanted Jonah to go tell these people, hey, basically, you guys are screwing up. This is not good for you. But he also knew, Jonah knew that God, remember at the end there, he says that he knew that God's heart, or that God was merciful and slow to anger. And so he knew that if he told the Ninevites about what God was thinking, that they could be saved. And he did not want that. And so he ran the other way, which ended him in the belly of a big old fish. And then he had to do what God told him to do anyway. So he created a whole bunch of unnecessary pain for himself, for the guys on this ship. And probably for the fish, which is not really that important. But you know what I'm saying. He caused pain for everybody because his focus was on himself. And listen, I get it. I'm a selfish person too. And so it's hard to have our focus on anything but ourselves. But let's look at what happens to all of these kings and to Jonah and to example after example after example in the Bible of people who had their focus off of God and onto themselves. Every time it ends poorly. I'm about to turn, so you're gonna see my steering wheel. But I'm gonna keep on talking. All right. And so, as we're going into this weekend, we have a choice between two things, two focuses. Number one, we can have our focus on ourselves, turning. Or we can have our focus on God. If we have our focus on ourselves, we create unnecessary pain for ourselves and for others. It may feel good in the moment, or it may feel right in the moment, but God says to not trust our own ways. He also says that there's a way that seems right to man, but is not right. So we can't really trust ourselves. When our focus is on ourselves, we end up in a world of hurt and bring other people into it. So that's our first choice. It doesn't sound great. And then the second choice we have is to put our focus on God. And we see example after example with the kings and with Jonah. Jonah's fish was not only a vessel of discipline, it was a vessel of deliverance and destiny. He went, and because of his own personal surrender and deliverance, then Nineveh surrendered and was delivered. And it's when he got his focus off of himself and just did what God told him to do. And every time we saw a king follow God, it was blessing after blessing. Not that we're chasing blessings, but we want to be obedient to live the purpose and the life that God called us to live. And it's not going to be easy. Sometimes walking with God is hard. Ooh, if you don't follow Beth Moore on Twitter, go check out some of her stuff today. She talks about this a little bit when it talks to about your calling being hard sometimes. And so it's not going to be easy. we don't quit and we don't go, never mind, I'm going to do it my own way, because that's trash. It's trash. And it ends in a bad way. So I'm praying today that we all get our focus off of ourselves and we do it as many times a day as we have to. Whatever that looks like every morning we wake up, in the middle of the day, at night, putting our focus back on God. God, what do you want? My life is about you. I'm worshiping you. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. And my life is about you, and I'm going to do what you want me to do. Give me the strength and give me the trust in you to do it. And I give you all of the glory for it. So that's what I'm praying for us today. Let's be intentional about it as we go into the weekend, choosing to trust God. All right? That's it. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday. Bye.